get into now. I just wanted to kind of demonstrate that God created sex within the correct boundaries, right? And so let's say this is me in my own, and I want to create my own boundaries, right? So I'm creating as like, okay, this is good enough. Now, as soon as you add the flame, right, which is, let's say, sex, now what happens is it's going to spread to the boundaries. And you think, oh, it's not bad. It's not hurting me.
You got it.
And then, but then again, I'll just put it there. Sorry, guys, for the smoke.
I don't want the fire alarm to go off.
It won't.
Still at my mama's house,
Oh, yeah.
you know?
But now, when it comes to sex in the boundaries of God, imagine this represents marriage. What God intended it to be. You're good, Jesse.
Just the smell of it.
Yeah. But let's say this represents marriage, right? Now, when you add fire to it, when two people come together, on my finger.
Tilt it a little bit.
Yeah, Martin.
Yep. Don't burn yourself.
I know.
You
Fire.
burn yourself making boundaries. Hey.
But now what happens is there is a sweet aroma that happens when it's in a boundary of marriage. And so we want this quick because we feel like we created our own story. But little do we know that's what causes wildfire,
Wow.
right? And so we need to make sure that we prepare ourselves, our vessel. We prepare to protect ourselves for that significant other. Because now this sweet aroma, not is it only impacting me, it's impacting others. And you are enjoying what you see. And so I'll put this right here. The sweet aroma, right?
It's a good smelling candle, I
Yeah.
would say.
So I wanted to talk about that a little bit when it comes to like boundaries, and when it comes to like sex in general. Like, people have this negative understanding that, oh, sex is evil. No, God made sex, but there has to be boundaries, right? There has to be a place where it's utilized. But now with the industry, with pornography, with OnlyFans, with Pornhub, you're not creating those boundaries. So let's talk about boundaries and kind of about a little bit more about sex and what Scripture says. So
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have to create boundaries for sure. Like, the boundaries are found within Scripture, but there's you guys know who Craig Groeschel is?
Yeah. Craig
Groeschel, love that guy. My goal is to have this dude on the podcast, Craig Groeschel. If you ever watch this, please, 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 we might email you at some point so you can come on this podcast. This is your invitation if you ever see this. Amazing pastor, amazing. And he actually came out with this book called Winning the War in Your Mind, I believe it's called that. But it's talking about habits, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily just talking about sexual morality, but specifically, like, on this topic, you can address this with sexual morality and pornography and all these different things. He said habits are like ruts. You know what a rut is? Mm-hmm. So ruts are like with a four-wheeler. Let's say that you're out in the grass, you start making donuts with that four-wheeler, but you continue in that same cycle, and it makes a deeper and deeper and deeper hole. And when you create that deeper hole, it's a lot harder to get out of that specific rut. And so that's what creating a habit is. And unfortunately, like, when we step into sin, when we step into sexual morality, it's literally like creating that rut. It's literally just continuing to make a cycle that's hard to get out of. But the way to get out of that is not just by yourself. You need help to get out of that rut. We're full of examples and explanations today, but that's similar. Like, literally getting out of that rut is you need help from somebody else, from other people, accountability to get out of that rut. And what you need to do is not just get out of that rut and, oh, I'm free. What happens after that? No, you need to replace it. That's what happens. You need to replace that habit, that thing that what you once did, you need to replace it with something else. Yeah. And so instead of you just got out of that rut now, no, you need to create another one to stay, but a good one,
Yeah.
one like that you can have habits where if you have triggers, if you have certain things, like you go to that specific thing to find peace and freedom, not sexual morality, not pornography. You need to go to God. God is your coping mechanism. You know, like that's their coping mechanism. It's like whenever I even saw this, like, what's the guy's name? There's another really good book, Atomic Habits.
Oh yeah, James.
Oh my
Clear.
gosh, James Clear.
From Columbus.
I think all of us read the book, right?
Couple times.
Yeah, couple times.
A couple times.
James Clear's awesome. He talks about habits again, but in his point of view is like you have to create a new habit to replace the other one. You can't just get rid of that habit and then expect nothing else.
Yeah.
You're gonna go back to the same habit. But when you go into that habit, like he says things like, if there's certain triggers, like start doing, for instance, if you're tempted to go into pornography, start doing push-ups. If you, for some reason, like start falling into this thing where you're starting to feel like lust and all these different things, put your phone down, go for a walk. Like, and the more you do these things, it's going to start replacing that, and you're no longer want to do this. You're no longer going to want to do the same thing as before. Whenever you're tempted, because temptations are going to happen. 100%. They're going to happen no matter what. But it's about what you do with that temptation. And if you begin to create good ruts, if you begin to create good habits, like those things won't take hold of you anymore, because freedom comes from creating other habits too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
That's good. I think that we have to be mindful of what sexual immorality looks like as far as relationships, right? It's not necessarily just sex,
Yeah.
right? Like we point to that as an extremist, but like you mentioned, like developing good habits, right? Like, but if I know if I'm playing house with somebody, right, and we not, you know, you know what I'm saying? We not together for real. Like we not married.
did that,
You know,
sixth grade.
That, you know, that also is in the lines of sexual immorality, is like you're not following these steps, right? And it puts you in a disalignment when it comes to marriage, right? Relationship, right? At the end of the day, I think we all know what's physically attractive to us.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, within that physical attraction is how can you get to learn somebody beyond that, right? So if I know that I'm interested in developing a relationship with somebody based off their physical attraction initially, right? If I learn how she operates emotionally, right, then I might not be so much physically, sexually attracted to her if I base my values off of that. I think that when it comes to sexual immorality, we have to know how to put ourselves in positions where we won't be tempted, right? We won't be triggered, right? And part of that is dating somebody. When you talk about relationships, dating somebody with the intent of getting to know them from the inside and then outside. You know, and I think that can lead yourself to a healthy relationship that doesn't involve around being sexual immoral.
And we have to be realistic. If right now, let's say you are dating someone and you're going to their place, let's say their apartment, what you're doing is, you didn't sin yet.
It's a real thing.
You're putting yourself in a position to sin.
Getting more comfortable.
More comfortable. So now it doesn't matter how strong of a Christian you are. People think that, oh, I've been in church all my life. Oh, I know every scripture. You put yourself in that situation, you're bound to sin. You're bound to fall. And so we, again, don't think, oh, I'm strong. Trust me. When it comes to sex, it doesn't.
But when it comes to anything that,
or anything,
that tempts you, anytime you put yourself in a position to be even more tempted, to be even more triggered, like you have a less chance of getting through that.
Yeah.
Right? Like if I know that I'm a diabetic, right, and all I got is candy in the house, right?
You're going to keep eating?
You know, and you're going to keep eating candy. You know that I'm
actually going to die.
Right, like it's extreme, but like, you know, you go die. So, you know, to that extremeness though, like I just won't have candy in the house. I can't eat anything artificial sugar. Like there's certain things that I can establish in my life that doesn't align with what can tempt me. Or if I just know I got to stay off of social media in general.
That's what it takes.
You know, but and part of that process of being extreme can be having a conversation. Some people think the conversation is so hard, you know, but if you open up, that's extreme to some people. I got to open up.
Yeah,
like,
I gotta tell someone.
I gotta tell somebody. Like, I'm embarrassed, right?
Yeah,
but
and it's hard. It is hard. Like we gotta make it for what it is. Like
right.
It is. increasingly difficult, but the reason it's increasingly difficult is because of pride, because we don't want to admit the things that we've gone through.
Yeah.
But the devil works in darkness. That's exactly what he wants you to do, man. That's exactly what he wants you to do. He wants you to sit in your darkness. He wants you to sit and tell nobody and say, I'm going to heal by myself.
Yeah.
That is a dark place, because then the devil can easily tap into that and try to tempt you more. And the more you don't tell people about it, the more guilt you're going to have, to the point where you're not going to want to tell absolutely anybody about your issues. And scripture's pretty clear. What's in the darkness, whatever in the darkness will come to the light.
Yeah.
And bro, you even see that, like, that's a whole nother topic, but you see that with pastors now, like, you're seeing that with a lot of religious people that are being exposed for sexual immorality. And the reason they went that far is because they never hit it head on. They never actually touched on it to a point where they threw it in the darkness, and it kept in the darkness, and then boom, you got exposed. You had an affair. You are like, you've been through so many. I was gonna say Diddy parties, bro. I'm not even gonna get into that. But like, you get what I'm saying. Like, it's real, man. It is so real, because you just kept it in the darkness. So like, if there's any practical thing, like, don't allow the enemy to keep you in the darkness. Don't allow that. Like, the way that you defeat the enemy is by bringing things to the light. And that is true.
And it starts here. We have become strong enough to open up and have a conversation. The people who are most important to you, I think it should start with a conversation. You know, people that you don't feel or you're going to be judged by. Start with a conversation. And when you can be vulnerable to them, it'll give you a sense of relief and less shame, less guilt, to maybe find out that they're dealing with something similar.
Bro, you'll be surprised.
You'll be surprised a lot of times when you open up about something, they can relate in some sort of way. Or they may have experienced the very same thing just in the past or presently. So it starts with the conversation. And I think that this platform, as I mentioned, is for conversations like this. If we become strong enough to open up to the people who are going to view this, we can develop a platform for people to share their experiences as well. And overcome what may be addictions, what may be things that trigger them, what may be things that are tempting them to get past being sexual and immoral.
And to those, let's say you're listening to this and maybe you haven't done, the best job in keeping your purity, let's say before marriage, or maybe you have dealt with pornography, like myself and all of us. Understand that God is a healer. God has the ability to bring healing to your life, to bring freedom to your life. Don't think that this is something that is impossible to God. He's able to do it. I'm telling you, he's done it for me. He's done it for Jesse. He's done it for Dan, and he can do it for you. So just be encouraged that, listen, just because you're struggling with this, number one, you're not alone. Trust me, there's millions of people that are struggling with this.
The statistics say
numbers don't lie. But know that, as Dan mentioned, that we are here to love, to support, but also just to provide that platform, just to listen and be like, hey, so comment, DM us. Like, we want to hear your story. If you're struggling with this, if you just need extra prayer, and then get connected with people that you can trust and talk about it and, work through it.
Yeah, that's so true, man. That's so true.